Alright, we're on the air. Welcome to the channel. Cait just jumped a mile. Get yourself some help, because we're not professionals. Call 911-988. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt anyone else. Welcome to the show, Cait.
Hello, hello.
Cait's got her notes out.
Gotta be prepared.
Be prepared. So what are we talking about today, Cait?
So we're just gonna kind of piggyback off of the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Wanted to talk about the different subtypes of OCD. Maybe go into the stigma.
Ooh, that's a big one. Stigma. All right, well, let's get into the types, or as you said, subtypes of OCD.
Yeah, because they're honestly, you could have OCD about anything, but I guess the more common ones would be contamination, which is like pretty much being afraid of germs or being afraid of being near somebody that may be sick.
Well, that's not completely nuts. You know what I mean? If someone's hacking their head off, but you're saying being afraid of the unseen germs, like
Yeah.
they're everywhere?
So, like, I'm gonna go into an example of my own.
Mm-hmm.
There's a point in time I would not touch any kind of like door handle. I would usually I wear like a hoodie.
Dawn does that to this day.
Yeah, so she might have OCD.
She will not. I notice it, and it's not something we even talk about. But she will not grab a door handle with, because she never has a short sleeve shirt on. I would
Right.
like to see what she would do. I'm gonna take her to the auction next weekend. Make her open a door in a t-shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah, she struggles with that. I guarantee.
that's
If you
so
ask her
funny.
right now,
That's
we should
funny.
drag her ass in here.
Like, hey, open that door.
No, these doors she's fine.
Well, yeah.
In public,
Yeah,
yeah, she will not touch.
that's why. Have you seen those door handles where you?
Yeah, the foot
You can
ones.
boop.
Yeah, no, they also have the foot ones at the auction.
Oh, well, that's a good place to have those. 'Cause
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, but the U handle so you
Yeah.
can use your forearm.
Yeah, there's a time I would not, because I was afraid I'd get sick and then bring it home, and JJ would get sick. It's a whole thing. Yeah, it's pretty much just body fluid, germs, any kind of anything disgusting.
Mm-hmm. Trash.
I could see trash being in there.
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense. I don't like touching like the trash can lid, so
Right.
I'm like, ew. If I touch that and then I eat something, no.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's somewhat good hygiene in a
Well,
way.
yeah, yeah.
It's like I used to always say, why do I gotta wash my hands after I went to the bathroom? I really didn't touch anything. But now as I get older, I realize you should wash your hands every time after going to the bathroom.
Probably. But like OCD, it's just that constant thought, like somebody's coughing 10 feet away from me, I'm gonna get sick.
Right.
I could
How
die.
long would that last? In other words, the feeling, like, all right, so you're in Wawa and you're at the counter and somebody, 4 people behind you is hacking their head off. Like, do you lose that?
I guess it honestly just depends on the person.
Right. No, I'm talking about you. Like, was
Me,
it something
personally?
how long would it last? Like, the feeling of the contamination.
I guess until like I would be able to get myself somewhere safe,
Distant?
like my house.
Ah, got you.
And then I'd have to wash my hands and
Mm-hmm.
maybe shower.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nuts. A little. I mean, it is a little nuts, I would say.
Yeah, I
we
know.
can call each other nuts. We love each other and know each other that well.
I mean, normal person isn't gonna go home and be like, I need a shower right now. So,
Right. Okay. How do you, other than taking a shower, washing your hands excessively, like how do you handle it in the moment? Is it something that is overwhelming? I guess the obsessive part.
Yeah.
You know, the obsessive part, like if you go to Wawa, like the scenario we just set up. So if you feel contaminated, it doesn't stop until you decontaminate.
pretty much, yeah,
Okay.
until you do that compulsion.
Right. How about that? So what was that theory you were telling me?
Which one?
Exposure response
Yes.
prevention. So when they have you go into public,
So I did have to do that.
okay, so exposure response prevention is a therapy that makes you, basically throws you into cold water if you don't like cold water and learn to live with it.
Yep.
So how would that work in that instance?
That's a great question.
Yeah. Well, you said you didn't.
Well,
What did you just say
it
you
was
did?
more or less with the handles, the door handles.
Right.
So like I would have to obviously go somewhere and open
Barehanded.
barehanded,
And
let it ride out.
well, how would it work? You went to Walmart, you opened the door. Well, you need a door you
Not
can
at
pull,
Walmart.
right? Wawa.
Yeah. You just go in, touch the handle, do your business, and leave.
And you were successful doing that, like after so
Obviously,
many
yeah,
times.
it's a couple tries, like obviously a lot.
All right, cool.
So-
That's it, family. You got OCD. You got to try this exposure response prevention therapy, ERP.
Gold standard.
Gold standard. It's called. I only done a tiny bit of research, but that's what I see. That's what I hear. And you, if it works for you, Cait, it works.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you know what I mean. Like you're the only OCD willing to share your shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like I probably know many people that are
Yeah.
OCD. I know
They
Autumn
might not
is.
even know that they have it.
You know, I know Autumn, my daughter is. But yeah, do they know they have it? Like it's a diagnosis for you.
I mean, it took me,
you
what,
know?
30 years?
Yeah, God bless you that you made it. So go ahead.
Subtypes. Another one.
Subtypes. So we got contamination out of the way.
Yes.
Hit your notes.
Yeah, I
Kate's
got it
her
right here.
notes.
I'm ready. So another one that a lot of people have are violent or harm, afraid they're gonna hurt themselves, hurt somebody else. Which, if you tuned in last time, we discussed I was afraid of hurting my son, myself, and to kind of go to the beginning. I used to go to my grandparents every weekend when I was younger.
Teenager or preteen?
Preteen. And I vividly remember standing in the kitchen, everybody's asleep. I'm a night owl, so I've always been up late, looking at a knife, being like, oh my god, I'm gonna stab one of them.
Wow.
And I obviously didn't know at that time what it was.
That's deep shit.
Yeah. I mean, and you're afraid to tell anybody, so I had to sit with these thoughts for
Right.
so long.
Wow.
Not
You know,
telling
you get
anybody.
into normalizing mental illness, and right there, you know, it is a glaring friggin' spotlight on why we need to normalize mental illness.
Right.
There was, you did you ask for this? Let me ask that first. You didn't ask for this shit.
No.
You don't know how you got it. Not that we're trying to put blame on anyone. You don't know if you got it.
Genetics,
Genetics,
yeah.
hereditary.
I mean, my family's fucked up.
Exposure,
so maybe-
yeah. I'm the baby of 8. We were fucking jacked, Cait. The baby of 8. The exposure part is just mind-boggling. I never had, so I guess I'm not OCD. I live like a slob.
You
I
don't
know.
have thoughts that stick.
I
mean,
do, but I
But you don't-
But I call them wheels. Like I call them mania. Like so, what I call my thoughts that stick are like a bunch of hamster wheels on a pen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they spin, and my brain has multiple ones that spin at different speeds. And when I get fucked up, I say this. One of them wheels spins in reverse, unlike all the rest, and gets hot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then I have an issue. But I don't get... No. I don't get, like, with the way you're explaining, I don't get, quote-unquote, OCD.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we get into a couple more types, and maybe I say, okay, I relate with that
Yeah.
one. You know what I mean? Because comorbidity, which is just a fancy word of saying you suffer from more than one thing at a time. Comorbidity in mental illness is rampant. You know what I mean? None of us really are. I'm bipolar 1. You're OCD. Guess what? That ain't the only tattoos we got. That
Right.
shit stamped on us.
Yeah.
All right, hit me with another type. Because
So-
the violent one I don't like, but it can be a whole episode in itself because
Well, that one's rough.
that
one's
is
real
rough, and you need to control your thoughts, Kate. Like, and if you can't control your thoughts, violent is not something to laugh at. I laugh
No, I
because I don't know what else to do. Like, to think of you could harm someone so precious and defenseless, you know, is scary. All right, we're down 2. Maybe we're
Another
third.
one that I personally have never had to deal with is a religious subtype. So it says fear of offending whoever they believe in, or a right-wrong mentality.
Yeah. I was raised Catholic. I can see if you were OCD how that could take over your life, the way that people force spirituality on you and beliefs and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine. Thankfully, we don't have to talk about that.
No, I'm
But it
not
is
religious
one
at
of the
all, so
types, and it's
It's
serious stuff.
somebody that deals with it, you know. So
Because people that don't have mental illness live their life through and by spiritual principles. So that's very important to understand that somebody with OCD type that is religious, we're not trying to dismiss that. We just have zero experience.
I can't talk on it if I
All
don't
right,
know
hit me
it.
with another.
Identity, so that's more of like a gender identity, sexual orientation one that some people do deal
Wow,
with.
I'm
Like,
going to challenge you on that one.
I don't know enough about it.
I know, but just, I'm glad it's the first time I heard it, right? But
Yeah.
identity, we look at it in this woke time that we live in gender and stuff like that. But I think, and maybe it could be left there. I'm trying to find a type that I fit in a way. Isn't
We're
that
not
sad?
done. We're not
We're
done.
not done. All right, hit me.
So another one would be sexual, so that could be like unwanted images, thoughts about that's related to sex. Like some people, not personally know, but I've like read, have like a pedophile obsessive compulsive disorder. Like they're afraid they're gonna touch a little kid or
All right, here we go. This might be a little too raw. Oh fuck. All right. I look at my kids, your age, and I cannot look at anyone younger than you. It messes me up. So I can't imagine looking at a child,
Be like-
one of my grandkids, and just as they run parallel, think about your violent one. You know what I mean? Running with that, and that messes
That's
me
another-
up in the head.
that's
That's
another
some
fucked one.
serious.
that's another fucked one.
Yeah, that's some messed up shit there.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Sexual. And it's obsessive. Like, that's the part. I apologize. I should have muted my phone. But it's Tim. So
Tim, we
it's
love
like the
Tim.
dream of all dreams.
Tim.
So you read that again. Alright. Sorry. Shouldn't have did that. Alright. Where are we at, Kate? Sexual.
Yes.
There's a lot of types of OCD.
Again, I said one type does not fit all.
Yeah, you did.
Another one, perfectionism. So that's like exactness, neatness, being afraid of losing something super important. That's, I hate to say it, but that's how a lot of hoarding can begin. You don't want to throw anything away because you think
Gotcha.
it's of some kind of importance.
Right, of some value.
I mean, perfectionism's another one. Like the exactness of things. I used to.
Would the neatness and shit like that come into that part?
Yep.
Alright, so how do you deal with that, and what does it do to you? Like, when look at all the wires in front of you and
Oh, it
shit.
drives me nuts.
I know, so tell me what, like, You can tell I don't have OCD. I mean, that's as we go through this list, I'm lucky. I don't need any more. You know what I mean? So OCD would drive me flipping nuts. I feel sorry for you.
Thanks.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is the one that I don't. How did we get them, Kate?
I wish
That's
I
what
knew.
I want. A doctor. All these books that are written and shit like that. Tell me how I got this, because mine really didn't manifest till my mom's death in '99. In '99.
Well, a lot of trauma can trigger.
And that's what it was.
So.
It was mine was trauma. We got to get better at headphones. I mean,
The big boys. But yeah, a lot of times trauma will trigger something in your brain, and our brains are just wired differently.
yeah. That's another whole thing, Kate. I want to know where this came from, but
I don't know if we're
that's a
ever gonna
serious
find an
question,
answer.
though. But that's a serious discussion. All right, give me another type.
So we have responsibility. So being fear of being responsible for something like horrific, or like it says fear of hurting someone because you weren't careful. So that goes back to kind of like the I'm driving and I'm afraid I hit somebody. So the compulsion would be checking to make sure I didn't. Reassuring myself by looking at like the news articles.
That's bananas. God bless me. I'm not OCD.
Because I've been there.
I know, and I want. How many more types do we have on your list?
Just two.
Okay, cool. All right. Because I want to go back to a couple. So hit me with the
Yeah.
last two.
So relationship is the next one. So it can be really about any type of relationship that you have, family.
Right, not just romantic or
Yeah.
anything like that. All right, hit me with the last one. real
And
quick.
that's just a category of other. So like it's
Gotcha.
death related, real events and false memories kind of thing.
Could you imagine being false memories? Like, could you imagine being obsessive over a false memory? Like, God bless yous. Listen, let's figure out how to get through it. All right, Kate.
What do you got for me?
I want to know which type is like if you had the list 1 and 2
For
you.
myself?
Yes.
So the violent and harm.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess probably responsibility. Because contamination really doesn't bother me anymore. I'm not religious. I've had no identity, sexual.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, perfectionism, yes. But the other ones, no, not really.
All right. Hit me with the violent, Kate, and the tools. I don't want you to give me a bunch of war stories. I want you to tell me, give me a little blurb of a war story, and then how you handled it.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna piggyback off of our last episode with the harming my son. Like you'll get these crazy images in your head. I kind of just like flash.
Of it actually happening.
Yes, correct. And then
All right. There's our SD if you're in special ed, right? That's what we're gonna focus on. That flash in your mind of you harming JJ,
yeah.
and then what the fuck do you do? Jesus Christ!
It's so I'll give you two different, like when I wasn't taking my meds and going to therapy.
Okay.
My compulsion was to avoid, and I know that sounds shitty, to avoid your own kid.
But distance, you mean physical, like distance from him?
Yes,
What,
and I might start crying, but
that's okay.
like
I
it's
don't
a
have a
shitty.
tissue, but I got a
it's
napkin.
it's just real shitty feeling of feeling like you're afraid to be around your own kid. So when I was doing my therapy, he would have JJ sit on my lap, do like a minute at a time, and just sit there, and then afterwards you realize maybe not. Like everything's uncertain.
So how many times do you do that in therapy? And do you increase the duration?
So it really depends on, I guess, your therapist. But you kind of rank it on a scale of whatever they have you rank it. And then after the exposure, you'll come back and then re-rank it. So depending on how distressing is the scale, you would do it again until it was kind of just like
Just a normal event. Like you're trying to get it to be. I don't want to use the word normal.
I think the way that we would do it is a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most distressing and 1 being the least. And then once we hit like a certain, maybe like between a 1 and a 3, then we would move on to the next exposure.
Right. How long have you been in therapy?
So I went to therapy after I had JJ. So almost 6 years ago I started. Then I stopped because I guess I kind of graduated, I guess you would say. And then I went again when COVID came around. And that was through NoCD, which is another resource people can use.
What is it?
NoCD.
NOCD.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then that's like online therapy, with like therapists everywhere. There's a spider.
On the microphone? I'll
Got a
check him
little,
out. I don't see him, but I believe you. Oh no, he's pretty big, Kate. Get
a
him.
little mascot here.
We do have a mascot. You sure it's not a ladybug?
I'm positive that.
Okay. You want a tissue? You
No,
want a...
he's fine.
All right, cool.
You can hang out.
I wonder if we can get him on camera. That's funny.
He's just a little guy.
Yeah, he's chilling.
And then I couldn't afford said therapy sessions, so I stopped. And then after my last little breakdown, I started again.
Cool. And you're doing well with it.
Yeah.
Great.
I mean, I'm lucky, and I got a therapist that I have a really good connection with. So
That's awesome, because that's got to be priceless in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
because I've
you gotta
heard
feel
stories.
comfortable.
I've heard stories
I
about
can
people.
imagine.
Yeah.
All right,
So
well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. All right. That's some scary stuff, the violent part. Like, and I'm really glad that you had a good therapist to get you through that, because I don't know if I could tell you how to get through that, you know?
it's he tells me it's a lot of work, and he tells me all the time.
Well, I
I'm
talk
doing
about a
of work.
lot that all this is a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm big on scripts. I'm big on planning. I'm
Yeah.
big on spending a half hour tonight looking forward to next day, the next morning. I'm big on sometimes getting just to lunch
Right.
to 11:30. Like, I'll be like, look, let's just figure out how to get to 11:30. If I'm at work till 11:30, I'm not leaving early.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of work that goes into that. There's still days I fail at it,
Yeah.
and call out.
Shit happens. I mean, sometimes
It,
you
it
just
does.
need that.
And, yeah, it
Especially
does.
in our field, you need a mental health day every once in a while.
Yeah, but do we take advantage of that? I do. I take advantage of it. I'm not lying to you. There's days I just can't function. But there also are days that I know if I can make it to 11:30. So tonight I'll prepare. We go on spring break in like 3-4 days, man. So we get a week off. So this is the easiest week in the world, right?
It's gonna be the longest though.
It's gonna be long, but it's gonna be fun because you're counting down
Yeah,
3,
you're
2,
like, all right,
1,
4
4,
days.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
But with that said, I still have to prepare. There's that spider. He's over here.
Oh, really?
He just dropped to the ground. I still have to prepare for the possible douchebags I may run into.
And a lot of this.
Yeah. And so I have to come up with scripts, and I rehearse them, and I take a lot of credit in some of my family members. I've sat them down and went through my script process, like when they didn't want to make a phone call.
Yeah.
Let's say they want to make a phone call to their aunt, and we would sit down and we would come up with a actor script. There's no deviation, and come up with the individual and make a script and have them say it, and be afterwards, after like a 3-minute phone call that they've been stressing over for hours, days, months. We would script it out, and it'd be like, can't believe how easy that was, right? Like, I can't believe how easy that was. So that's what we want to get out of you, Cait. You're the OCD T for bipolar-raw, right? So we're gonna squeeze everything we can out of you until somebody comes and says, Cait, how do you do, Cait, I do this, Cait, So
I'm very
forward.
Open.
I know. So we look forward to staging a live event where we'll go live and we'll promote the heck out of it, and we'll do it all on OCD. So we have an expert per se, because you're more of an expert than people write the books and write some of this bullshit.
Right.
So we'll do it, and we'll definitely help people,
Yeah.
So all right, one more. Responsible.
That's it. Yeah. I don't know. Were we live when I gave the example of the driving earlier?
No, I don't think we were. See, me and Cait talk too much off camera.
So, I used to have this thing where if I was driving, I'd see somebody on the side of the road, and I know I didn't hit them, but I thought I did.
Right.
So a lot of that is checking. Like, you would check your rear view, but then you're still not convinced.
Trust yourself.
Exactly. So you would turn around and maybe double back and check to make sure they're still on the street. Or if, a lot of times you're in the car, you're going somewhere where you have to be.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd be checking the news or looking up hit and runs. Like, that's that self-assurance thing too. Like, just trying to make sure that there's nothing on there that could possibly point to you.
I'm sick, Cait, and that's mind-boggling to me. It really is, to think that, because I know, here's what's wrong with public. I know that's real.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And to the rest, they use the C word, right? You're crazy.
Yeah.
But, Bubby's here.
I gotta go to bed.
She's got to go to bed. We're wrapping up.
It's after 10.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, past my bedtime.
All right, I'll be right there.
Good night, love you.
Good night, love you.
But yeah, it's very time consuming, and it is crazy.
It is. It's awesome though that we have an outlet. We also have a forum that we can touch people.
Yeah.
And even if we don't touch anyone, it's really good therapy, Cait.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To talk it out and to share our story.
It helps.
You know what I mean? What do you want to end on?
I guess it's just touch on the stigma a little bit.
Go ahead, hit me with stigmas. Stigma of OCD?
Yeah, because have you ever heard somebody say, "Oh my God, I'm like OCD about that"?
I hate that, Cait.
That
I say
pisses
that.
me off.
It's lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
And it's an immaturity thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have someone that's very near and dear to me that claims they have the same disease I have. And they have a mental illness, but it's not a competition.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No.
Like,
we're all trying to survive.
Yeah, we have to learn. See, I have a script for that. I do. Like, I'm not going to get into all my scripts now. I don't want to get off. But I have a script for people that want me to feel like I found someone like me. Mm-hmm. God fucking help you. Yeah, I'm serious. Like, and it kind of does rub me the wrong way when people say that to me, So, yeah, I'm OCD. Get the fuck out of here. Like,
honestly, you're not... Depending on what it is, like, you're not going around like, oh my God, I'm so OCD when you have it. Mm-hmm. It's like you don't even want to think about it.
No. That's crazy, isn't it? Like,
It definitely gets me.
so the stigma.
People think it's just being organized and being clean, and again, they don't see most of it because it's mainly the obsessions and compulsions.
I always liken all things in life, right? But especially our issues in life as two guardrails, right? And the road is laid out, but on both sides is a guardrail. And the most direct route would be to go in a straight line right down the middle and get nowhere near the guardrails. Like we drive our car, we don't bounce off the guardrails. But now, in order to get where we're going, our mental illness makes us bounce off the guardrails. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's a little brush off the guardrail, and it doesn't slow our momentum down that much.
It's not linear.
Exactly. Other times, it's like friggin' Z's, where you are bouncing
Ping
from
pong.
one side. Exactly, but still, we have to move forward. You know what I mean? And I think normally people don't really see the amount of times we bounce off the guardrails. And good for them that they don't suffer, but we have a lot of work to do to make them understand what we go through. And on a daily basis, I went through it with Dawn the other day. She goes, "This is effing exhausting." You know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, it really is. You know what I mean? I think of what I do with my alarm clock. Like, I'll push it back a little bit because I know I have a really rough day. I got some major league HR stuff going on at work. And, you know what I mean? There's certain days where on certain Mondays, like tomorrow's a Monday, like I would set my alarm for 20, 30 minutes early and use that to rock out to some music. You know, what it is, I'm not saying I sit down and do the exact same thing every day, but I do whatever it is I feel to get my head right. And then I work on a few scripts. My main one is, you're pushing the limits of my medication. I need a minute. And I'll turn around and walk the fuck away.
Nothing wrong with that.
And there's not. And sometimes we need to develop shit to protect our mental health against those stigmas. Like, the last thing you need is somebody coming up and rah-rahing you that I got what you got, and it's a joke.
Right.
Yeah, to us, you're making a joke of it.
Yeah.
And I know you may not be trying to do that, but you're just not educated on what we go through.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think the more we stick together and the more we find like minds and like individuals, Kate, we're going to make some progress. Yeah. So hit me with the 911-988 so I don't have to.
All right, hit that 911 or 988. Don't hurt yourself and don't hurt anybody else.
All right, thank you very much, Kate. An HR reportable way.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Report this. We love you. Have a good night.
Night.
All right, good one, Kate.